Good morning, Facebook friends. Helen Arcantu here, CEO of the YWCA of Northern New Jersey. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am so happy to be with you today. It is Tuesday. I have to think about that often when right before I say it. It is Tuesday, and we are coming to the end of November. And if you've been following us at the YWCA, you know that we've been noting that this is Native American Heritage Month, the month of November. And although, with all of these months, as we always say, it's nice to have an opportunity to spotlight, during the course of the year. But, it's important for us to recognize the culture and accomplishments and contributions of all the groups that we spotlight, throughout the year for sure. But this is a great opportunity today to be able to talk with a new friend to the YW, and so happy that I get to meet her and talk with her today. And I'd like to introduce you all to Gail Gentle Leaves Gould, a citizen of the Nanticoke Lenai Lenape Tribal Nation, and a statewide tribal commission coordinator and liaison to the New Jersey Department of Health. So welcome, Gail. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. And as my introduction states, my name is Gail Gentle Leaves Gould, which Gentle Leaves is my Native American name. So I'll give you a little bit of background about that first. So traditionally, Native American children did not receive a name until they were about 3 years old because a name had to fit the personality. So the name that you're hearing today, Gail Gould, of course, is the European name that was given to me, but Gentle Leaves is my native name. So my oldest stepdaughter gave me that name because she said that I am like a very strong tree, but the boughs of the tree, the limbs and the branches hover over the family and take care of everyone. So that's why she named me Gentle Leaves. So I was very honored to receive that. And unfortunately, growing up, I was not quite sure of my Native American history. I knew that I was different from a lot of the children that I was going to school with, kind of simulated into the white or Caucasian world. But I knew in my heart that I was different. I was brought up differently, some of the traditions and things that my elders had taught me. So it wasn't actually until I married my husband, who just recently stepped down from being the chief of our tribe for over 45 years, did I realize that I was actually Native American. And that's when I got my citizenship card for the Nanticoke Lenai Lenape tribe. So Mark and I have been married for over 33 years. We have one daughter together and two stepdaughters by his first marriage. We have 13 grandchildren, 16 great-grandchildren, or 6 great-grandchildren, excuse me. So our life is very exciting, other than being a part of the Native American, community. So I just want to give you guys a little tidbit. If you ever travel through Newark Airport, they have just put up brand new murals or pictures on the walls. And one of them happens to be my grandson. So my son-in-law works for an architect firm, and one of his coworkers came to our powwow back in 2019 and just took some pictures of my grandson. And then there was a contest that she entered, and her pictures got chosen to be the murals on the walls. So he is 12 years old. He is called a chicken dancer, because there are many different styles of dance within the Native American communities. And we just thought it was so cool because he's one of the most timid, shyest little kids in the world. And now to have his face splattered all over, at the airport, it's really kind of cool. And it's kind of given him that little confidence that he needs now. So if you guys are ever in the Newark Airport and you look up and you see a young man, you'll know that that's my grandson, Matthias. So
Well, that's such a wonderful honor, to have him displayed there, and how exciting for your family. And I appreciate and you sharing how your tribal name came, and a little bit about that history. For many of us, unfortunately, the knowledge that we have of the Native American communities is probably most of it not rooted in reality, in facts. And so it's so wonderful, and we're so grateful for you to come share, some of this information today. I wanted to tell our viewers a little bit about your background too, that you are. You work with the state of New Jersey in conjunction with the Commission on American Indian Affairs, and that in 2020, the commission received its first grant through the state and the Department of Health to help combat COVID-19 within vulnerable populations, which include the Native Americans throughout the state here in New Jersey, and that in July of 2021, you were hired as the commission COVID coordinator to help provide COVID-19 services for New Jersey's 3 state recognized tribes and their intertribal communities. And, that's such a, I think, important information for everyone to know, that work is happening and that exists. Can you tell us a little bit about your role as the statewide commission coordinator and the Native American communities that we have here in New Jersey and how you're able to support them?
Absolutely. So first, I'll tell you a little bit more about the commission. The commission was established in 1995, and it was first known as the Commission on Native American Affairs. Then in 1997, they changed it to American Indian, because a lot of different races associate themselves as being Native American, which means that they are native to the Americas, but not American Indian. So I guess for clarification purposes, they decided to change it to American Indian Affairs. So we have a commission that is compiled of the 3 state recognized tribes, the Ramapo, which is up in Bergen County, North Jersey, the Powhatan, which is more in the Burlington, Camden area, and my tribe, which is the Nanticoke Lenape tribal nation in southern New Jersey. So they meet every 2 months, and this is the first grant that the commission has ever been awarded, which was just a big feather in our cap, which really helped quite a bit. So it is in conjunction with the Department of Health, and they got a huge grant, which is kind of entitled Vulnerable Populations. So it's for underserved populations, regardless of race, color, everything. So, but one of the biggest issues is the Native American population. Now, the Ramapo in Bergen County, that's kind of big city. We are down here in South Jersey. We are considered very rural. Our transportation issues are horrendous. There's not a whole lot of public transportation. It's very hard for a lot of our people to be able to go out into the community to be able to receive COVID-19 vaccinations. So with this grant, we've partnered with the Department of Health that has what's called a mobile command, and they actually come to our location and administer the vaccinations. And then we've also partnered with several other agencies, hospitals, pharmacies, Walgreens, Rite Aid, things like that, where we are able to, if we're not actually having our own vaccine clinic, we are at least able to set up appointments for our people if they have the transportation to go to a Rite Aid or a Walgreens or one of the local drugstores or the hospital. So the statistics based off of the 2020 census shows that there are 59,000 Native Americans in the state of New Jersey. This is probably true, but unfortunately, only with the 3 state recognized tribes, we know that there's about 20,000. But there have been a lot of other tribal Native citizens that have left a state and relocated here to New Jersey. So what we're trying to do is just make sure that everyone is vaccinated. And we feel kind of comfortable that the majority of our people have gotten all of their vaccines, the whole series. There are some that are a little hesitant because of the silly rumors that go around all the time about what a vaccine can do to you. But now what we're doing is not only offering the vaccines to our own tribal citizens, but we're opening it up to the entire population in our area. We have a lot of homeless here. We have a lot of migrant workers here. So we've been doing a lot of vaccine clinics out on the waterfront in our small town and just opening them up to everybody, because our theory is what is the point in getting all of our folks vaxxed if we're only going to send them out into the community where a lot of other people haven't had access to the vaccinations? So I've partnered more so with the Department of Health now to help with those other vulnerable populations that are out there, not just the tribal citizens. It's truly been an eye-opening experience doing this, because it made not just myself, but our actual tribal leaders realize that there are so many opportunities that we need to help our people. There's a lot of health disparities among Native Americans. Diabetes is very, very prevalent, along with heart disease, heart attacks, hypertension, things like that. So what we are trying to do is working with the Department of Health now. This one opportunity has put so many other caps on my head that I'm able to communicate more with them for rural health. I sit on the Rural Health Advisory. I'm also on a cancer board right now, where they have recently gotten a actual mobile command that will come down into the area and do cancer screenings, cholesterol, different things like that. So once they get their final license, they'll be able to come into the Native communities as well and offer those services. So it's just been a wonderful, wonderful opportunity, and it means so much to me to have been chosen to do this. So I do have someone that works for the Ramapo tribe that works under me. So his responsibility is to make sure that the clinics get set up, and I just oversee the whole process. One that works for our tribal community. And unfortunately, the Powhatan have been going through some internal things right now. So I do a lot of overseeing for them to make sure that clinics are set up in their area to provide vaccinations. So now we've moved on to the flu vaccinations as well, because that's hit home really hard. So we not only offer just the COVID-19 vaccine, but we're offering the vaccine for the flu. We're hoping to incorporate shingles, pneumonia, different things like that. That is just very difficult for a lot of our citizens to be able to get.
Well, it's wonderful to, have someone in the community being able to, create this confidence and this like trust and a relationship to be able to, bring information in a way, as you said, there is, in so many various communities, we've heard this so much over the last few years, distrust, and rightly so, because our systems, historically, have been inbred with racism and lots
Yes.
of fraught with lots of issues that definitely account for the distrust that exists for sure, but what a tremendous opportunity to be able to partner in this way, and bring these positive health benefits into the communities that you're working with.
Yes, and you're absolutely correct. They feel more comfortable knowing that it is a native that is offering this to them. So it does lighten the load a little bit for the mistrust that has happened throughout the years. And unfortunately, that is still an ongoing battle that we go through, because
Yes.
most of the social studies and history books talk about Native Americans as if they don't exist here in New Jersey. They're all out west living on reservations, and so that's one of the things that we are trying to do as well. We are trying to get an insert put into the children's social studies books that actually makes them aware that we are still here. We've never left. Unfortunately, when the Europeans did settle here, they were trying to remove all Native Americans from the East Coast and put them out on reservations out west. The last train to pull out of South Jersey was in 1924, trying to remove us all out to Oklahoma. Those of us that did stay behind had to assimilate into the cultures that were here. So someone as fair as myself would have been considered Caucasian. My husband, who is a little bit darker complected, would have been considered African American. And that's the only way that we could survive. So we were very fortunate that we had several churches that allowed us to still meet kind of on the down low, and be a part of our communities without having fear of being removed. So in 1978, when my husband started to kind of reorganize the tribe and go for our state recognition, a lot of our elders were very fearful, because they were afraid that the government was going to come in and take their homes away from them, take children away and put them out in Indian boarding schools. You know, there's one in Pennsylvania called Carlisle. And that's one of the issues that we're fighting, because a lot of the children were taken there and ended up being murdered. And the cemetery there is just incredible. So we try to take our youth there, and each year we take our youth and they put flowers on the graves or a small toy or something like that, just to be able to feel like they are a part of what happened with the children, but to let the children that are buried there know that we are stronger now and we are better. So.
Yeah, I mean the importance of your work, you know, in both directions, obviously for those that are part of your community to be able to understand that, you know, there are many of you, you know, in New Jersey, and, you know, that you're, you know, can create kind of a group support for each other. But that also together that you can educate the rest of us, right? That, you know, are not understanding. I mean, so much of what you've already shared today, you know, I'm sure for many people watching is, you know, surprising and new information, because unfortunately, you know, this is another, you know, another area of our history of our country that we know that, you know, we've grown up with missing information or incorrect information, you know, about our, you know, Native American, American Indian populations in our country, let alone in New Jersey. So it's this is a tremendous opportunity now that you've, you know, been able to, you know, organize in a stronger way thanks to this funding and, you know, this connection that you've been able to, you know, bring together to support each other and to, you know, re-educate us and to advocate collectively. And for those of us watching today, you know, as I say this in all these systemic conversations that we have about, you know, where we, you know, obviously need to do different than what we're doing. You know, here's an opportunity for you to support these efforts and these conversations. You know, we should want our children to grow up with understanding, you know, the real history and of, you know, our Native American communities, and also an understanding of, you know, and a pride of who we have here in New Jersey, and not the kind of misunderstanding of information of that, you know, those that are in our country are, you know, in a different part of our country and not right here, for sure.
Absolutely, yes. So many years ago, we had a small Lenape village in our city park, and my daughter and I worked it. And there were some children that went by one day, you know, and they're like, "Oh, whoa, 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 look out, they're going to scalp you." And it was kind of an off day for me. And I said, "Get your little tails in here right now and sit down and let me tell you the true story of the Native Americans and how all that came to be with scalping and things like that." So every opportunity we get, we try to go out and do educational programs. We work closely with the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, churches, schools. Just recently, we did a program at the Grounds of Sculpture, which was really wonderful. We put a mini powwow on up there, and it was really an eye-opener for a lot of people that were not aware that there were still Native Americans here right in their backyard. So
yeah, and on the heels of the Thanksgiving holiday, right, which, you know, obviously this, you know, country, you know, celebrates, you know, and in our minds, you know, collectively as a country, that this is such a rooted American tradition, but it's a very different experience for our Native American communities, because again, it is, you know, we're not educated on the realities, you know, around the history. How is it that we can support our Native American communities, our American Indian communities, and get a better understanding, obviously, of you know, where and how, you know, is going on with your communities, and how we can educate ourselves and be supportive?
A lot of that is just reading.
Mm.
Just read the facts. There are a lot of stories that are out there that are still to this day myths about us. One of our tribal citizens, and you'll be able to see this on our website, wrote a small 65-page book called "We Are Still Here." And if you go onto our website, you can download the PDF for free. And it actually takes you back over 10,000 years, bringing you to the present of us. There was another one that was written about my mother-in-law, Strong Medicine Speaks. And she was our medicine woman for many years and could just take wild herbs from out of the yard and make concoctions that could cure just about anything. So that's a good read. But there are so many books out there that still blur the truth. And the main thing is just to do your homework and reach out to us as communities, and get involved a little bit more, because it's so hard for people to, like looking at me right now, everybody's like, well, you don't look like an Indian. I get that a lot when I go out and do educational programs. Well, really, what is a Native American supposed to look like? What you've seen on television, the long black hair and long braids and kind of a reddish brown. We come in all shapes and sizes, all various shades of color, and we've assimilated so much. It's kind of like we sit on a fence. We have to live in the white world to survive. But on the other side of the fence, we're still keeping our history and our culture alive. So I tell children when I go in to do educational programs, I work right next to your mommy and daddy, in stores, or we shop together. And just because I don't have feathers and beads on every single day doesn't mean that I'm not Native American. So one of the things that I can say to people is be mindful about what you are saying, because you never know who you're standing next to in a line. So you could say something that could be very hurtful to someone, not knowing that they are Native. But
yes.
I mean, there's a lot of things that just doing your homework and reading a little bit more. Like if you go on the commission website, you will see that back in 2012, the governor at the time, and I'm not going to get political, decided that he was going to take our state recognition away from us. And it wasn't until 2019 that we got our state recognition back, but we actually had to file a lawsuit against the state. And it cost us quite a bit of money for this lawsuit just to get our state recognition back, because someone had put a bug in his ear that if we ever got our federal recognition, one of the first things we were going to do was start casinos. Well, I can't speak for all the other tribes, but our tribe, if you read our constitution, we are a non-gaming, non-vice tribe. We don't want alcohol. We don't want tobacco. We don't want casinos. We don't want anything like that. The only purpose of the federal recognition really is to just have the federal government acknowledge that we are still here, in New Jersey. We weren't removed.
Well, and that is so important. And for our viewers, Gail has provided some websites for you to be able to check out and learn more and get information about events and opportunities to get yourself better educated. And also for anyone who is part of the community that wants to learn more how to access some of the services that she's talking about, there's a link here for you to connect as well. So we do encourage you to check all of those out. Before we leave each other, Gail, and again, as I shared with you, is when we at the beginning, before we started taping, we first met. I hope this is the beginning of us doing, many, opportunities of working together and supporting each other and sharing the stories and the events and the opportunities for us to, to work more side by side for sure. Any last pieces of information you'd like to share with our viewers before we sign off today?
Really, I'd just like to thank you guys for this wonderful opportunity, because as I said, any opportunity that I get to boast and brag about the Native American culture that's here in the state of New Jersey, it just does me a world of good. So I would just like to thank you all for the opportunity. And if at any time anyone has any questions and they would like more information, please feel free to go onto our website. Our website will show our powwow date, which will be coming up at the second weekend in June of 2023. It's at the Salem Fairgrounds down by the Delaware Memorial Bridge. The Ramapo have one as well. And that gives you a wonderful opportunity, because it's not just kind of like a family reunion for us, because we have natives that come in from all over the United States and Canada, vendors with their crafts, drummers, but it's an opportunity to showcase who we are and what we're really about. So we would love to have all of you come down and be a part of our powwow. It's a 2-day event, and I think it would be really, really a wonderful opportunity for you to see for yourself who we are and what we're truly about.
Well, that's wonderful to know. And you all can get the information about those events and mark your calendars by going to the websites and the links that we shared with you here. I'm again so grateful for all the information that you've shared, and we encourage everyone to stay connected. And best of luck with your ongoing work. And again, know the YW stands with you and is here to support and amplify as we can. And for everyone out there in Facebook world, remember today's Giving Tuesday. There are lots of great organizations out there that we hope that you take an opportunity to support today, whether it's $5 or $500. Nonprofit organizations like the YWCA of Northern New Jersey survive on the support from the community. There's many organizations, even these links that you go to from today's conversation. I'm sure ways that you can support nonprofit organizations that are connected to some of the tribes. And we really do encourage you to seek out an organization that reflects your values and to support it. Obviously, any donations that the YWCA gets help support our important programs. But I can tell you there's a lot of great work happening in our communities thanks to our nonprofits. And so we do hope that you consider supporting somebody today for sure. But again, like we say with these heritage months and honor months as well, every day of the year is a good day to educate and support. And we'll stay connected to learn about advocacy initiatives and ways that we could keep you all engaged in supporting our Native American communities and the efforts that they're working on, whether it's about school curriculum or other acknowledgement, for here in New Jersey. We all play a part in supporting and making sure that, this is all of our history here in New Jersey. And, this is our state, and we should want it to be reflective of the realities for sure. So everyone have a great day. And Gail, again, thank you so much for joining us and sharing so much about your world and, the work that you're doing and our Native American communities here in New Jersey, and look forward to hearing more as time goes on.
Thank you so much. Anytime you want to connect again, I'd be more than happy.
Wonderful. All right. Be well, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.